What drives a man to enter hell itself? A convoy of armored vehicles cuts through desolate wasteland, engines roaring against the silence. Inside, teachers clutch their belongings as an armed guard delivers a chilling warning. Do not leave the designated area. Do not provoke the inmates. Among them sits Dante Kang, a science teacher whose conviction will soon be tested in ways he never imagined. As the convoy rumbles forward, nervous introductions fill the air. Dante adjusts his glasses, introducing himself with quiet professionalism. A blonde woman brightens. They're both science teachers. An older man jokes about teaching ethics to criminals, while another mentions music. Their laughter feels hollow as the convoy disappears into an ominous fog. The sign ahead reads simply, Fogland. But what is Fogland exactly? The blonde teacher dismisses concerns with naive optimism. What could possibly happen in an international prison? A bearded man's expression darkens as he reveals the truth. 50 years ago, a meteor crashed into this very desert. 5 years later, world powers built their prison on the impact site. Some whisper it houses more than just criminals. A researcher once claimed Fogland opened the gates of hell itself. One teacher jokes nervously about teaching monsters, while another questions if educated people should believe such nonsense. But Dante remains unnaturally calm when asked if he feels frightened. His composure unsettles even his fellow teachers. What does he know that they don't? Dante explains his philosophy. These people ended up here due to lack of education. A cynical colleague calls him pretentious. Suddenly, the radio crackles to life. 5 minutes to Fogland. The blonde woman's eyes widen in shock. Reality hits harder than any lecture. The first gate approaches, and with it, a world beyond their comprehension. Welcome to the world's largest prison. A banner flaps mockingly in the thick fog as guards issue stern warnings. No filming allowed. No personal belongings until collection. The teachers strain their eyes through the dense mist that gives this place its name. Visibility drops to almost nothing. They're entering blind. At the first checkpoint, armed guards emerge from the fog like specters. Dante questions if this intimidation is intentional as footsteps echo ominously around them. The guards' instructions are clear. Follow orders for everyone's safety. But whose safety exactly? A voice cuts through Dante's growing anxiety. There's nothing to be afraid of. Yet his trembling hands suggest otherwise. They're just people. The words echo as Dante stares through reinforced glass at empty classroom chairs. His reflection shows confusion and frustration. A classroom separated by a wall? How is he supposed to teach through such excessive security measures? Students won't even see the whiteboard. A dark figure appears at the door, calling his name with unsettling familiarity. The inmates will enter now. A guard's warning cuts through the sterile air as Dante grips his hands nervously. Under no circumstances should he leave this area until class ends. The heavy door slams shut with finality. Sweat beads on Dante's forehead. The lock clicks ominously. What kind of students require such extreme containment? Chaos erupts without warning. Prisoners in orange jumpsuits scatter across the floor as guards draw weapons. Thump after thump echoes through the corridors. Dante stands frozen in shock, witnessing violence beyond his comprehension. What the hell is happening? Among the fallen inmates, one figure stands out. Prisoner 0-032, whose glowing eyes and grotesque features suggest something far worse than human criminality. A grotesque figure with wild, orange hair gasps for breath, questioning if these beings are even human at all. Another tattooed inmate voices the absurd. How are such creatures supposed to attend class? Dante's wide eyes reflect pure horror, while his companion shakes his head in disbelief. The fog thickens around them as a guard watches silently. This is no ordinary prison. Maintaining his composure, Dante introduces himself as their science instructor to a classroom of empty chairs and menacing stares. When a prisoner sarcastically asks if he's building a rocket to escape, Dante explains that science was the most requested subject. But why would hardened criminals crave knowledge? The prisoners sit in ominous silence until one breaks it with a sinister laugh. Hee hee. The classroom feels stifling as Dante sweats under the prisoner's intense gazes. He pivots from rockets to something simpler, sweet potatoes. Today's lesson focuses on learning to live with nature. He reveals purple sweet potatoes on each desk, explaining they'll discover the potential for growth within these simple vegetables. The tattooed inmates watch with varying degrees of interest and suspicion. This elementary lesson might seem beneath notorious gang members, but Dante understands their psychology. Most never experienced normal conversations like this. They'll dismiss it at first, treating it lightly. But once they witness how water and care can transform a simple sweet potato, perhaps they'll see their own potential for change. The hooded student watches with masked curiosity. "Are you calling me a sweet potato?" The wild-haired inmate explodes in rage, slamming his fist down. Dante frantically clarifies. He only meant their potential for growth. But chaos erupts as the grotesque figure bites into the potato with yellowed teeth. Chomp! Munch! Munch! Other inmates follow suit, devouring the vegetables raw. This wasn't part of the lesson plan. "Wait, you're not supposed to eat them." Dante protests desperately. He only has one for each person. But what's wrong with these people? What are they playing at? A masked inmate dismisses his childish nonsense with contempt, demanding something more practical. "Teach us how to make fog." Dante blinks in confusion. The request catches him off guard, but he's willing to engage. "Fog formation in the air?" The masked prisoner's question turns sinister. "You're a scientist. Don't you know what fog is?" Dante corrects him nervously. He's a science teacher, not a scientist. Realizing this might be payback for his prison break joke, he almost laughs. Almost. Wham! The strike comes without warning, shattering his glasses and sending shards flying. The violence is swift, brutal, unexpected. Terror grips Dante as he screams, seeing a menacing figure beyond the glass. The creature's face distorts with technological malice, suggesting this is no game. Control room. An inmate is trying to break the bulletproof glass. But is it really bulletproof? Heavy footsteps clomp through the corridors as armed soldiers advance. "Get down." The command echoes as violence erupts. "Kill them all." Gunfire erupts in the smoke-filled chaos. An armed attacker opens fire as inmates scatter in orange jumpsuits, screaming in terror. "What are you doing?" Dante rushes toward the gunman, demanding answers. "Enlo, stop it." His intervention earns a brutal response as a cold voice instructs him to wait patiently until all targets are eliminated. How could they do this to helpless people? Blood splatters across the walls as a deranged inmate with spiked hair confronts an armed guard. Some inmates can't even see. Why would you kill them? The violence escalates as the guard struggles against the prisoner's desperate assault. Squash. Blood sprays violently as Dante watches in horror, his shattered glasses reflecting the carnage. Then a new voice emerges from the chaos. "Let me introduce you." The masked figure's words chill the air. "That is to say, my future neighbors." Dante slumps against blood-splattered walls, his eyes wide with terror as reality crashes down. This isn't a prison riot. It's a systematic slaughter. His heavy breathing echoes in the confined space as the masked prisoner looms over him. In this world's largest prison, survival means understanding the rules, and Dante is about to learn them. Exhausted and overwhelmed, Dante remains slumped against the wall while shadows dance around him. The menacing figure's distorted face materializes in the darkness, a harbinger of horrors to come. Creak. The sound echoes through cracked corridors, suggesting structural instability or something worse. In this isolated chamber of blood and fear, silence becomes more terrifying than screams. What nightmares await in the depths of Fogland? Lying on grimy stone floors, Dante observes an orange-clad inmate crouched in the corner. The prisoner's black mask reveals only one visible eye, bright blue and unnaturally alert. Creak, rustle. Every sound amplifies in this confined space as Dante shifts carefully, trying to assess his situation without drawing attention. A weapon gleams in someone's hand nearby. The atmosphere crackles with unspoken threats. In a cell marked locked up, confusion reigns. The slumped prisoner asks who Dante is while Dante himself struggles to comprehend his surroundings. Where am I? The sparse cell contains only a metal bed and grimy toilet. Your home? Dante's question hangs in the stale air. Neither man understands how they arrived in this concrete cage, but the implications are becoming terrifyingly clear. The masked inmate's hostility fills the dimly lit corridor as Dante demands answers. What's going on? Memory fragments return. A riot broke out during his class. But instead of containing the violence, guards were ordered to kill the inmates. The plan backfired catastrophically. Now security guards lie dead, and Dante finds himself trapped with the very people he came to teach. Are we inside the prison? Inside Fogland? Dante's questions receive only silent nods from his cellmate. The orange-clad figure's shadowed face offers no comfort, only confirmation of their dire situation. Then comes an unexpected plea. Teach me. The request echoes off concrete walls. But what could a teacher possibly offer in this hellish environment? And why does this prisoner crave knowledge above escape? Sweat drips down Dante's face as the absurdity hits him. Did they bring him to prison over a worthless sweet potato? For a simple vegetable? His mind reels at the thought of being trapped with maniacs over something so trivial. But wait, his eyes narrow with sudden realization. What weapon might be hidden here? A pistol? A blade? Paranoia creeps in as he scans for threats. You son of a... Dante jolts back as his cellmate lunges forward. I'll have to take my chances. Slam! The orange-clad figure crashes into him, then tumbles across the floor. Dante grips the man's arm tightly. Squeeze, while both struggle for control. I barely noticed him in class. Dante thinks frantically. Meanwhile, his opponent focuses desperately. I just have to stay on top of this. Now I'll take the weapon from his right hand. But Dante's shock deepens as he realizes the truth. Oh, he's missing an arm. The jumpsuit figure grimaces but maintains composure, offering an unexpected apology for resorting to violence. But here's the thing, he continues ominously. The contrast between his resigned calmness and Dante's mounting anxiety creates an unsettling dynamic in their concrete prison. You should have eaten the sweet potato like the others, better for nutrition. The prisoner's practical advice contrasts sharply with his escape plans. As for me, I'm getting out of here. He demands information about guard rounds and meal schedules, while Dante listens anxiously. TSK. The facility must be on high alert after the recent massacre. But this man seems determined to navigate the chaos. The fog. Dante panics as thick mist fills the air, obscuring everything. I can't see anything. His desperate calls for help echo unanswered through the haze. Hello, is anyone out there? The silence stretches ominously until, why is the cell door opening? His wide eyes peer through his glasses as the impossible becomes reality. Freedom shouldn't be this easy in Fogland. What is this place? This isn't a prison. Dante's voice cracks with disbelief as he stares at the impossible landscape beyond the door. The desolate terrain defies everything he knows about correctional facilities. Where did you bring me? His questions cut short as a dark figure grabs his mouth violently, piercing eyes glowing through shadows. This nightmare has only just begun. In a ruined urban wasteland, desperation drives cruel words. The orange-clad figure clutches a cloth to his mouth, insisting he's a law-abiding citizen who doesn't belong here. I'm better than all you scum of the earth. His superiority complex crumbles as a shadowy masked figure fixes him with an intense glare. Meanwhile, a formal-looking man watches with tears streaming down his face, overwhelmed by the hopeless brutality. I wasn't talking about you, sir. The prisoner's sarcasm cuts deep as he addresses the suited man, while facing a muscular figure with glowing white eyes. What are you staring at, fatso? The insult triggers immediate violence. Wish. Thwack. A massive arm swings with devastating force, promising brutal consequences for such disrespect. In Fogland, words have deadly weight. Blood streams down the shirtless man's face as his glasses lie shattered on the ground. That scumbag stole my clothes. He gasps, pointing at the masked figure. It's all because of you. The masked prisoner deflects blame, while the victim rages about being dragged into trouble by brainless actions. The tension escalates as survival instincts override rational thought. What are you doing? Terror fills the dark-haired man's voice as he watches the muscular figure zip up an orange jumpsuit marked D-182. Okay. I apologize. But apologies mean nothing here. Zip. Flop. FWIP. The sounds of forced transformation echo through the grim cell. Wear it. The command is simple, absolute, and terrifying in its implications. The muscular figure's cracked skin tells stories of unimaginable suffering as he towers over the trembling prisoner. If you were something identifiable, the rescue team will struggle to find you. But hope dies quickly in Fogland. No one is coming for you. The guards kill them all. You don't want to stand out from the inmates. Survival means blending in with monsters. Now wearing the tattered orange uniform, the bloodied young man stares blankly, his messy black hair framing a face marked by confusion and resignation. Are we getting our meal? His naive hope about mealtime and meeting guards seems almost childlike. Meanwhile, a rotund figure dances joyfully in the street, singing L.A., L.A. La La. The stark contrast between despair and manic joy defines Fogland's twisted reality. The masked character regrets not taking those cool glasses from his victim while gesturing dramatically. Hey, honey, where did you get that outfit? His mocking tone shifts to terror when he spots an ominous figure in the background. Gah, I was in Tofu Village and saw a guy with glasses. He seemed fresh. The revelation about finding a newcomer takes on sinister meaning. Oh, in Tofu Village? The muscular figure's interest peaks as the masked prisoner excitedly describes his discovery. Yes, the newcomer wore a cool outfit, so I took it from him. The confession seals his fate. Without warning, multiple stab wounds pierce the air as blood splatters violently. As the masked figure bleeds out, the attacker rises with grim satisfaction. Finally, now I know where he is. Oh, teacher. The menacing figure grins with sharp, blood-stained teeth, his weapon gleaming with fresh violence. In this gray cement jungle, inmates' dull skin provides natural camouflage among the shadows and chaos. The stark environment mirrors their predatory nature as another prisoner displays haunting, starved eyes. What's wrong? The question echoes as maniacal laughter fills the air. Ahaha! Walking through the thick fog, Dante questions whether the figures around them are human or beast. I can't tell the difference anymore. This wasn't his image of prison. Fogland resembles a nightmare, jungle more than a correctional facility. A large black crow with an eerie blue eye watches ominously from above. Are you sure we're inside the prison? His companion offers no reassuring answers. Things are clearly out of place. Dante protests as he observes inmates roaming freely in what should be a secured facility. Some even look drunk. And were those hanging above corpses? They can't be mannequins. You speak too loudly, his masked companion warns. In a whisper, Dante voices his suspicion about this kidnapper, noting how his eyes differ from the wild maniacs roaming the streets. This guy's a threat too. Dante resolves never to trust anyone in this environment as he observes the masked figure's glowing white eyes. But the prison mess hall surprisingly appears functional. Inmates actually form orderly lines for food. The chatter and clatter create an almost normal atmosphere. Hey, the mess hall doesn't look that bad at all. Perhaps some semblance of civilization remains in this chaos. A prison guard. Dante's eyes widen with hope as he spots the uniformed figure. There's an officer here. I am saved. Relief floods through him as he prepares to maintain civilized composure. He must appear rational, not like just another prisoner. His mind races with plans to explain his situation and secure rescue from this nightmare. Freedom seems within reach at last. I want lots of ham. The masked prisoner's demand echoes as Dante steps forward nervously. Finally, It's his turn. I'm a teacher named Dante Kang. He begins desperately. I was caught in a riot and kidnapped. You need to contact your superiors immediately about the disruption. His words pour out frantically as he tries to establish his legitimacy, while dark figures loom menacingly in the background. The guard's disheveled appearance sends chills down Dante's spine. Drool falls from the man's mouth as he stares with haunted, vacant eyes. Sir, are you okay? But there's no response, only eerie silence. Clunk! A tray slams onto the counter as another figure shouts about moving the line. What's going on? Nothing makes sense anymore in this twisted facility. What was that look? Dante studies the guard's completely vacant expression. Maybe he was never a guard to begin with. Then where are the other real guards? Are they even looking for him? Something's seriously wrong here. I'm screwed. His panic builds as he realizes the depth of his predicament. Even the supposed authority figures offer no salvation in Fogland. A hooded figure approaches with food, asking about sweet potatoes. You wanted to learn how to grow them, right? Dante confirms with a nervous smile. But the request takes an unexpected turn. Help me get out of here. The hooded prisoner offers a deal. He'll gladly teach sweet potato cultivation in exchange for escape assistance. A strange bargain in an even stranger place. Do you take me for a fool? The masked figure's skepticism cuts through the tension. All this over a lousy sweet potato? But the stakes escalate quickly. To escape, you must become the supreme leader. What? The supreme leader? Another prisoner ridicules the idea. A wimp like him could never achieve such power. But Dante never expressed any desire for leadership. What dark game is truly being played here? The cryptic words hang in the air like poison. You either ascend or fall. Dante's desperation peaks as he demands clarity from this unhinged guard. But the man's dismissive sneer cuts deeper than any blade. So you don't want to help? The guard's cold response shatters any hope of cooperation. Then I have no reason to stay with you. Dante's fist slams against metal with a violent rattle, his resolve crystallizing into raw determination. Dante's fury erupts as he threatens consequences. Once I'm out of here, you will be punished by law. But his captor's mocking laughter echoes through the industrial gloom. Then, a voice cuts through the chaos. Teacher, Mr. Kang. Hope floods Dante's chest as he realizes salvation might finally be within reach. The sound of his name in this hell's cape feels like a miracle. I'm over here. Dante's voice cracks with desperation as he sprints toward the sound. Numbers crack across prison walls like prophecies. 0 to 368, 0 to 639. Inmate identities or countdown to doom. My name is Dante Kang. He screams his identity into the void, a science teacher clinging to who he was. But shadows gather, and that ominous doom echoes through the corridors like a death knell. A chill runs down Dante's spine as a familiar voice emerges from the darkness. It's been a while, teacher. Remember me? I was at your sweet potato class. The tall figure's long black hair obscures most of his face, but there's something unnervingly nostalgic in his tone. Dante's blood turns to ice. The sweet potato student, that odd, unsettling presence from before. What nightmare has he stumbled into? Clamor fills the prison yard as orange-clad figures gather like vultures. What a sick shoulders. The cryptic phrase triggers a violent flashback. Dante's mind reels as he remembers that sinister grin, those calculating eyes. The masked figure who attended his class wasn't seeking education. He was hunting. Bang, bang, bang. The memory crashes over him like gunfire. The guards, they died because of this monster. Blood paints the scene in crimson horror as the dark truth unfolds. The grotesque mask bears multiple faces, a collector of identities, a murderer of guards. That's questioning your morals. The killer taunts, his blade gleaming with fresh violence. You shouldn't be questioning the limits of your mind, but the possibilities for your mistakes. The word reach hangs in the air as steel slides through flesh. Dante witnesses the unthinkable. Exhausted and broken, Dante kneels on the cold ground. His hands drop uselessly as the weight of this nightmare crushes down. Did you come looking for me? His voice barely a whisper, tinged with resignation. But then something shifts in his eyes. That's simple. I want to continue the class. Even in this hell, the teacher in him refuses to die completely. The killer's grin stretches impossibly wide as he reveals his twisted prize. Making fog, a glowing blue orb pulses in his palm like a captured star. The other prisoners gasp and murmur. He has fog, their eyes reflecting the ethereal light. This isn't just murder, it's harvesting. The sweet potato lesson was never about agriculture. It was about something far more sinister. Dante stares at the 3 large blue orbs in his trembling hands. What is this? His scientific mind rejects what his eyes are seeing. These cloudy, pulsing things shouldn't exist in the outside world. A gruff voice mentions teaching fog-making, and the pieces of this nightmare puzzle start clicking together. Are those blue lumps what they call fog? The accusations of lying sting, but the truth is far worse than deception. I've never seen anything like this before. Dante's voice cracks with genuine confusion. This doesn't exist in the outside world. But the dark revelation cuts deeper than any blade. This is why we took your class, to capture you. The 6 shoulders weren't students seeking knowledge. They were predators laying a trap. The sweet potato class was bait, and Dante walked right into their web. What the hell is that thing? Terror grips the prisoners as the blue orb hovers like a malevolent spirit. No, the crack of reality splitting echoes through the yard. Inmates with vacant, drooling expressions scream, "I don't want it," as they desperately try to push the cursed object away. Their eyes wide with primal fear, they cower before something that defies all logic. The clunk of smaller orbs hitting the ground sounds like death knells. Chaos erupts as prisoners fight like rabid animals. Yeah, one pale figure screams with manic glee while others tumble and slam into each other. Hand it over. It's mine. The bald inmate's twisted grin reveals the true nature of fog. It's an addiction, a curse that turns men into beasts. Bodies crash together with violent tumbles and whacks as civilization crumbles before Dante's eyes. The white-haired figure speaks like a prophet of doom. Fog is practically gold. It's a blessing from the gods. But this blessing is a curse in disguise. The old man swallowed them. Prisoners tear at the fog consumer like hyenas, demanding he spit it out. Blood flows as they bite and claw, yet the man who swallowed fog stands motionless, smiling. Even as they pull him apart, that haunting smile never fades. A monstrous lion with glowing blue eyes lurks in the cloudy backdrop, watching the carnage unfold. The tall killer taunts the desperate Tofu Village bastards, mocking their pathetic scramble for a little piece of fog. Today, that old man will stay in heaven, or he might gain incredible power if he takes more fog. Dante coughs violently, overwhelmed by the toxic atmosphere of this supernatural hell. Why did I ever come to this horrible place? Dante's voice breaks as reality crashes down. Let me go home. The panic attack hits full force. I've never seen that thing in my life. His academic credentials feel worthless here. I don't have a PhD. I'm just a plain old high school teacher. The confession echoes in the grim cell as his identity crumbles under the weight of impossible horrors. So you're useless. The words cut like a blade through Dante's remaining hope. The wild-eyed inmate grips his knife with fervent anticipation, preparing for the kill. Swoosh! But there's something deeper here, bitter disappointment. I was the first one to find you. I thought I won. I thought I could finally become the supreme leader. Even murderers have dreams in this twisted place. Whack! A document slams into Dante's face as his past comes flooding back. You useless fool. A teaching certificate? Is this a joke? The family's disgust is palpable. They wanted him to abandon education, to leave teaching for fashion, for something more profitable. But Dante's quiet defiance cuts through their contempt. There's nothing wrong with being a teacher. Even surrounded by shadows, he holds onto that truth. My mother is a professor of law. and my grandma became the president of the Presidential Association at a young age. Dante recounts his prestigious family lineage, but the pride turns bitter. Sure, I did earn my share of respect as a teacher, but at home, I was treated worse than a stray animal. The glowing red eyes of his past trauma stare back at him from the darkness. The meeting room feels heavy with unspoken agendas. The suited man speaks of a program that aids people who haven't had the opportunity to learn, his voice earnest but suspicious. The Lost City, a place where workers from all over the world gather. But shadows lurk in this conversation, and blood smears on the wall hint at darker truths behind the educational mission. But you know what, Dante? The accusation hits like a physical blow. You aren't doing this out of commitment to your work. The suited figure's back remains turned as he delivers his psychological assault. You're making an impulsive decision just out of your need for validation. You refuse to accept that you aren't special. The words strip away Dante's noble intentions, revealing the raw insecurity beneath. The moon-faced figure speaks with chilling certainty about stupidity and evidence. But that, in itself, is the very evidence of stupidity. Dante's panic reaches its peak as the realization hits. My brother was right in every way. I was a fool, and now the stupid choice I made. The orange-uniformed figures loom like harbingers of his impending doom. Was none other than me. Dante's confession hangs in the air like a death sentence. The one leading knowledge and education. But then the violence erupts. Shink! The fork becomes a weapon. Whack! Blood splatters as past and present collide in a symphony of violence. The teacher who sought to educate has become something else entirely in this nightmare. Af! The scream tears through the chaos as someone hits the ground, bloodied and broken. Was that a bullet? Who the hell brought a gun into this? The wild-haired figure reacts with shock at the escalating violence. A woman with blood smeared across her face grins with terrifying menace, her blue eyes gleaming with madness. Dante watches in horror, tears streaming down his cheeks as his world dissolves into nightmare. Blood and terror paint the scene as Dante stares into the face of pure evil. The pale figure's calm expression contrasts sickeningly with the blood splattered across their features. Those light blue eyes hold no humanity, only cold, calculating malice. The white-haired attacker lunges forward through the chaos while other prisoners watch in alarmed horror. This is no longer about education or sweet potatoes. Thwack! Bodies collide with bone-crushing force. Crack! Walls shatter under the supernatural violence. The long-haired figure sways through the destruction like a dark angel of death, while prisoners watch in stunned terror. Blood stains everything as the battle reaches its peak. And then, through the chaos, a towering structure emerges. The tower. What significance does this ominous landmark hold in this hellscape?
The Great Tower. The tower has fallen. The structure's collapse sends shockwaves through the prison. A new shoulder is born. The white-haired figure screams with manic triumph as prisoners surge forward, cheering hurrah. Dante stands bloodied and bewildered, marked with 182 like cattle for slaughter. Greetings, new shoulder. Please tell us your name. But what does it mean to become a shoulder in this twisted hierarchy?
I'm Elif. I really am alive. Dante's voice cracks with desperate gratitude as he realizes he survived the impossible. His hands shake, blood still fresh on his face. The white-haired student approaches with urgent concern. Teacher, let's go. But can Dante trust anyone in this place where students hunt their teachers and survival requires becoming the very monster you fear? The sweet potato is a lie, isn't it? The white-haired student's grip tightens on Dante's shoulder, forcing the truth to the surface. And no, Dante's denial sounds hollow even to himself. Why did you sign up for my class in the first place? Please don't kill me. I don't want to die. I'm sorry. The confession pours out like blood from a wound. He attended for new clothes, not knowledge. Not sweet potatoes. Not education. What? The confusion cuts through Dante's fear as he struggles to understand this strange dynamic. No cutting in line. Don't you see we're lined up here? The prison's twisted social order begins to make sense. They're bringing people home to choose for the class or something. Then why did you save me? But the answer reveals a cold pragmatism that chills Dante to the bone. You pissed on my new clothes. The complaint is almost comically mundane amid the horror. In a grimy shower area, embarrassment mixes with the ever-present threat of violence. The pale figure with spiky white hair examines his ragged garments with curiosity. Is there a story behind the ragged clothes you're wearing? Even in this hellscape, the mystery of identity and belonging persists. Who is D? 182 before this nightmare began. This one says 182 too. So it's mine. The numbered uniforms mark them like inventory. They are both mine. But there's something deeper here, a connection to identity that goes beyond mere clothing. Were you unable to wash it because of your arm? The offer of help seems almost kind in this brutal place. Never mind, I'll wash those too. Small acts of humanity still flicker in the darkness. Getting out of here is one thing, but those monsters called the shoulders are looking for me as well. Dante's strategic mind analyzes his desperate situation. The commotion at the Chow Hall might have exposed my location. Time is running out, and hunger gnaws at his resolve. I could take a small bite. Even the disgusting soup seems appealing now. The whole sweet potato deal is off anyway. Shock freezes Dante's features as the masked figure casually reveals the truth. I almost killed you just now. The words hang in the air like a loaded gun. Oh, I'm so hungry. Do you think I could have a bite of it? But mercy is a luxury this place doesn't afford. No, the response is final, absolute. Even a teacher's humility can't soften this harsh reality. I don't care. I will kill you if you kill my sweet potato. The threat should be absurd. Who dies for a root vegetable? Oh, I remember you calling a lousy sweet potato, you moron. But in Fogland, contradictions are the norm. In a way, this works in my favor. What if your sweet potato is already dead? You made a scar just to carve your number on it. Even kindness here comes with a price. It will soon catch a deadly disease called browning. The masked figure speaks of plant diseases like prophecies of doom. But of course, there's a way to save it. Hope flickers briefly in the industrial gloom. Geez, but the deal is already off. Dante's frustration mounts, but knowledge remains power. Fine, I'll tell you one thing. Even in betrayal, the teacher in him can't help but educate. But the tofu village has the least amount of fog. The escape plan takes shape as they discuss their grim options. No, it will need to be drier than this. Even the laundry isn't drying too well here. I'm talking about the entrance to Fogland. We'll probably have to go somewhere near the gate. But in the workshop, a stocky man with a bandana works ominously, his groan echoing as hammer strikes metal. What hellish preparation is underway? Don't worry, we hired the best architect. The masked figures speak with confident menace in their industrial lair. My ability is the result of accumulating fog over a long time. The muscular prisoner's neck bone, tougher than steel, was shattered in a single hit. But he managed to shatter it in a single hit. Even the strongest fall before superior power. The hunt for the teacher intensifies. When did you get here? The appearance catches them off guard in the brick-walled prison. You haven't changed. You still blame me for your double-crossing like a rat. Old alliances crumble as betrayal comes to light. I thought we had an alliance. But trust is a luxury in Fogland. You know where the teacher is. Share the information with me. The demand hangs heavy in the oppressive atmosphere. Wait, hold on. You're not going to attack an injured person, are you? The skeletal mask grins with false innocence, but the dark-haired figure's response cuts through the pretense. You know what I want to do when I see overambitious bastards? It makes me want to crush them. Wham! Violence erupts without warning. A shoulder of Sector O. The title carries weight in this blood-soaked hierarchy. Let's go. We're going to the Tofu Village. The tattooed prisoners gather among the scattered bodies, their grim mission clear. Blood stains the prison yard as they prepare for departure. The The roar of a motorcycle cuts through the desolation, their escaped vehicle racing toward whatever awaits in the village. Bodies lie motionless in orange uniforms, testament to the violence that preceded this exodus. What's in this bag? It's heavy. The curiosity breaks through their exhaustion as they navigate the industrial maze. It's mine. The masked figure's possessiveness reveals little. Why? Does it have 182 written on it? The number has become an identity marker in this place. No, that's what people call me. Names stripped away, replaced by numbers. Even humor feels hollow when identity itself becomes a casualty of this nightmare.
I was always here. The cryptic response only deepens the mystery. What do you mean? You've always been here. Dante's questions multiply like his fears. Why so many questions? You're a teacher. You should know things. But even teachers have limits. Teachers aren't omniscient, you know? You talk too much, and your voice is too loud. The cat-masked figure's patience wears thin in this desolate alley. How far is the gate from here? Exhaustion weighs down every word as they trudge through the wasteland. We've been walking for at least 2 hours, but it feels like we're going in circles. Then why didn't you say so? Frustration explodes between them. Are you telling me we've been doing this for nothing? Thud. Dante collapses dramatically. I'm not taking another step. You can either carry me or give me something to eat. Mr. 182, panic grips Dante as he finds his companion motionless on the ground. Hello, what are you up to? The slaps grow more desperate. Mr. 182, what's going on? What's the matter with you? No, you can't do this to me. Wake up. The white-haired figure lies unresponsive, and suddenly Dante faces the terrifying prospect of being truly alone in this nightmare. You can't leave me alone in a place like this. Dante's voice cracks with raw terror as he shakes the motionless figure. Come on, you bastard. Open your eyes. Please. The whoosh of movement signals something shifting in the chaos. Debris litters the industrial landscape as shadows gather ominously. The masked figure crouches in darkness, and Dante realizes his nightmare has only just begun. The revelation hits like lightning. FWIP, reality shifts as the unconscious figure reveals himself to be perfectly normal. Whoa, what? Oh, sorry about that. The apology comes with a sheepish grin. I came to check out the loud shouting. But this isn't the psychotic killer Dante expected. This is just a normal person. The sound of gobbling echoes from nearby as hunger takes precedence over horror. Slow down, Dante urges as he nervously eats bread in the grimy room. Thank you. You saved me. Finally, some civilized folks. The relief in his voice is palpable as he meets Rambutan and Lychee, two seemingly normal prisoners who offer genuine kindness. I am Rambutan, and I'm Lychee. Their cheerful introductions feel surreal after the horrors he's witnessed. Perhaps sanity still exists in some corners of this hellscape. Oh, do I look like a woman? Rambutan grins while discussing their masculine haircut, bringing unexpected levity to the dark space. Aren't you? The confusion adds humor to their meeting. We're from the inner area. We stop calling places towns or villages as you get to the center. The center? Are there more civilized folk like you two in the center? Hope flickers as Dante learns about potentially safer zones in this nightmare realm. But I've been kidnapped by that guy lying unconscious over there. Dante's anxiety returns as he explains his predicament. Are you saying you were kidnapped in a fogland? The silver-haired boy's disbelief is evident. Oh, are you one of those teachers who got kidnapped? The recognition hits hard. How do you know about that? Dante's shock grows as he realizes his situation isn't unique. How many other teachers have suffered this fate? Wow, I can't believe I'm actually looking at one of the targets. The nervous prisoner stares in awe at Dante, as if meeting a celebrity. I don't mean to be rude, but you are not a mole working for the shoulders, are you? Me a mole? No. Dante's denial is emphatic. He only kidnapped me so he could learn how to grow a sweet potato. Laughter erupts at the absurdity. Sometimes even in hell, humor finds a way. What happens when the fog that grants supernatural abilities becomes the very thing that destroys you? Dante stares down at the unconscious white-haired boy, his mind racing with terrible possibilities. The boy's withdrawal symptoms are severe, fog withdrawal, they call it. Without the drug, victims fall into limbo, and prolonged limbo destroys the brain permanently. The green-haired prisoner explains the horrible truth. Fog isn't just a drug, it's a gift from the god of talents. It can awaken hidden abilities, enhance existing skills beyond human limits. But there's a catch. A deadly, inescapable catch. The light brown-haired prisoner's eyes gleam with desperate hope as he speaks of using their powers to escape this nightmare.
Slam! The door explodes shut. A massive figure with a monstrous tattoo stands in the shadows, sniffing the air like a predator tracking prey. He didn't get far. The bone eater emerges, clutching a bloodied head. The faceless follows. These are the shoulders of Sector O, and they're hunting the teacher. Dante's glasses fog with shock as the impossible plan unfolds before him. Break out of prison, use their supernatural powers to escape. His companion looks determined, resolute. But Dante stammers in disbelief. This isn't just about freedom anymore. It's about survival. And they want him to join their desperate gamble. Dante clings to hope, to procedure, to the civilized world he once knew. He'll speak to the authorities, try the proper channels. But his companion's words cut through his optimism like a blade. You won't see them. Forget about the administration. Bang, bang, bang. Gunfire echoes in the distance. The proper channels are already dead. The terrible truth crashes down like a guillotine. Folkuddiction Israel. Once you enter this place, you can never live without it. But Dante protests. He's never used fog, never intended to. His companion's response chills him to the bone. It has nothing to do with your intentions. The mist, it's made of fog particles. They've all been breathing it for days. The blue orb of fog represents everything. Salvation and damnation wrapped in divine mystery. A gift from God that awakens talents, but only if you can afford it. The mist seeps into the lungs, creating dependency. Without access to fog, without money to buy it, you end up in limbo, forever lost between consciousness and oblivion. Am I screwed already? Dante clutches his mouth, breathing heavily, panic consuming him. His companion offers a sliver of hope. He still has a chance. The addiction begins when you experience limbo for the first time. But the warning hangs in the air like a death sentence. You don't have much time. Different people have different tolerances. How long before Dante falls? The white-haired boy speaks the truth that haunts them all. We're screwed. But his teal-haired companion refuses to surrender hope. They've never heard of anyone escaping, but maybe researchers could find an antidote. They dream of freedom, of being together under blue skies. Even in this hell, love dares to whisper of tomorrow. Ah! The silver-haired boy jerks awake, wild panic in his eyes. His companion holds him close, both trembling with fear and relief. But something's wrong, terribly wrong. The boy speaks of sweet potatoes and wasted time, his words fragmented, desperate. Dante watches in horror, wondering if this broken creature might attack them all. Dante rummages through their meager supplies while his companion watches nervously. Why are you so frightened? The answer cuts through the tension like sunlight through storm clouds. He's just a fog zombie. Relief washes over them as they realize the truth. The boy isn't dangerous, just lost in withdrawal. Any of them could handle the situation if needed. Whoosh! A shadow moves with deadly intent. The white-haired boy's eyes burn with killing rage. I could kill him right here. But Dante steps forward, glasses reflecting his terror. Wait. No. Another prisoner intervenes, voice steady despite the chaos. I don't think it's necessary to kill him. Violence hangs in the air like a loaded gun. The white-haired boy declares his brutal truth. I have absolutely no intention of living here. Let's go our separate ways. But then, the sweet potato enters the conversation again. Snatch! He grabs it from Dante's hands. Maybe there's still humanity in this broken place, still hope to plant something beautiful in poisoned soil. Get him out of here. Rambutan, lead the way. The green-haired prisoner grabs his silver-haired companion as urgency explodes around them. I don't care if they shoot me full of holes. One prisoner throws something purple, creating chaos. The moment of truth arrives with thunderous determination. Let's do this. Freedom calls, and they answer with everything they have. In the aftermath, a figure lies sprawled on cracked floors, unconscious or worse. Dante peers down with curious eyes, his expression shifting between amusement and deep thought. The mist swirls around them, thick and choking. In the silence, memories surface, innocent conversations about puppies, about playfulness, about the simple joys that seem impossible in this nightmare realm. A shadowy puppet master speaks of past plans, while a young voice declares with impossible joy, "I'm going to raise a puppy." The scene shifts to desolate wasteland where hands reach desperately. 8 inches. That's all the movement they can measure in this hell. A bearded man stares in disbelief, while horror crystallizes in a disfigured face. The white-haired prisoner slams his hand against the bars, determination burning in his eyes. So what's the plan? How are we getting out? His companion watches skeptically as he crouches, energy beginning to shimmer around his form. Allow me to demonstrate. Wish. Power builds, reality bends. Something extraordinary is about to shatter their world. Boom! The explosion tears through everything, debris flying like shrapnel. What the hell was that? The green-haired prisoner staggers back in shock, while Dante screams in confusion. Through the smoke and destruction, the truth emerges, a hole blown through solid wall. Rambutan's talent is his incredible jumping ability. They're going over the wall. They're actually doing it. In the ruins of their escape route, 3 figures huddle around something precious. The teal-haired girl concentrates intensely, her fingers working with surgical precision. She's drawing, capturing their world with photographic accuracy. Her companions watch in awe as intricate details emerge on the makeshift map. Wow, they're not just escaping blindly anymore. They have guidance. So your talent lets you capture scenes like taking a photo? The spiky-haired boy marvels at the map spread before them. This isn't the entire Fogland, she explains, just their journey from the crater to here. But considering the size of Tofu Village, they've come farther than expected. Hope flickers. They're actually making progress toward the edge of this nightmare. Hey, don't doodle on the map. The green-haired boy snatches the pen away, but his companion has marked something important, potential dangers ahead. It doesn't matter, they declare with growing confidence. We'll soon be out of here. Lychee leads them forward as they carry each other toward freedom, the sound of their movement echoing with desperate hope. In the shadows of the debris-strewn wasteland, predators circle. You got fog? The muscular man demands, his voice cutting through the air like a blade. The masked figure responds with defiant mockery. What do you think, moron? I could check your pockets. Violence erupts as patience snaps. What the hell, you little S*******. Desperation makes monsters of them all. The emaciated man clutches his spoon like a weapon, madness gleaming in his eyes. Let's eat him. The words hang in the air like poison. Another prisoner tries to maintain sanity. Hang in there, it'll be lunchtime soon. But desperation has already won. Shall I slit his throat and drink his blood? Hunger has transformed them into something inhuman. Thwack! The punch lands with devastating force. Blood splatters as the wounded man collapses, confusion written across his broken face. What happened? Stephen? But the horror deepens as another prisoner screams about an eardrum falling out. In the growing darkness, a terrible recognition dawns. It's the Hound. Even his name strikes terror into their hearts. Run for your life. The panicked prisoner points in terror at the approaching figure. Look, it's the traitor. He must have been part of Thorne's crew. The masked figure emerges from shadows, declaring he's finally found someone. A smirking prisoner taunts him as Paper Bag Head, but gunshots echo in the distance. Violence shatters the moment with brutal finality.
Dash! The muscular man moves with predatory grace, blood decorating his orange jumpsuit like war paint. Victory is mine. He surveys the chaos with cold satisfaction while the masked figure kneels in submission. Those fools are too busy fighting the guards to notice what's really happening. They didn't even see the teacher disappear. The hunt continues in shadows.
This alliance is over. The angry prisoner's declaration echoes through the desolate streets. Another flees in terror, explaining that one of them came after him. The calm prisoner analyzes the threat. Judging by your look, you're with the bone eater. Or maybe the drill head. Crew loyalties shatter as quickly as they formed in this nightmare landscape. Don't piss me off. The muscular man's rage explodes like a bomb, his fist clenched and ready to strike. His masked opponent stands defensive, clearly surprised by the intensity. Look, I'm pretty pissed right now. The confrontation reaches its boiling point as they mention making the teacher. What? The sentence hangs unfinished, pregnant with threat. Swish! The attack comes swift and brutal, motion lines cutting through the air. The helmeted figure staggers back in confusion, question marks floating above his head. But lurking in the background, red eyes gleam with malevolent hunger. Sharp teeth flash in a grotesque smile. Thwack! Violence erupts again, echoing through the desolate urban wasteland. The bloodstained warrior points aggressively, his wild hair framing a face twisted with menace. Tell me, how's the teacher doing? The question drips with threat. A dark-haired figure meets his gaze with piercing intensity, annoyance flickering in his eyes. You little thief. Yank. Sudden motion tears through the moment. Geez, even in hell, patience runs thin. The spiky-haired boy sways in distress as the masked figure leans close, predatory hunger in his voice. You got fog? Are you in limbo? Meanwhile, in a dim storage area, someone counts methodically. That's one, too. A memorial to DDOT, former second-in-command of Hound's crew, watches over them. Crack. Tension builds to breaking point. Blood pools around the broken figure as he gasps his desperate bargain. Give me fog, and I'll tell you. His tormentors circle like vultures, discussing further torture with casual cruelty. Bend another finger. Talk, before I make you walk on your ass. The interrogation continues in this industrial hell, where pain is currency and information is survival. The tattooed man delivers his warning with deadly seriousness. Don't give him any fog, ever. His companion questions his fear. What are you so scared of? But the answer chills them to the bone. Look at that build. Perfect definition, incredible cuts. And the most terrifying part? That man feels no pain. No pain at all. The bloodstained warrior stands defiant, his wild hair catching shadows. Killing the tower was a big, fat mistake. His companion reacts with disbelief. A mistake? The argument escalates as personal stakes emerge. He killed a brother. He deserved nothing less than vengeance of blood. In this dark alley, justice and revenge dance their eternal, deadly waltz. DDOT didn't die for nothing. The spiky-haired prisoner speaks with quiet conviction as his masked companion pours green liquid, a makeshift memorial service. If only for his sake, we're all going to ascend together. Cheers to DDOT. But as they raise their glasses in solemn tribute, boom, the memorial explodes, shattering their moment of peace. Hound recovers from his coughing fit, blood and beer staining DDOT's portrait. His crew expresses concern, but he brushes them off with typical bravado. I choked on beer, that's all. But the broken figure in the corner knows better. He sees through Hound's mask, recognizes the vulnerability beneath the violence. Some wounds run deeper than flesh. That was no luck. It was skill. The tattooed man explains with authority, his finger tapping the injured prisoner's boot. This was Krav Maga, military combat training. While others rely on fog-enhanced powers, this man fights with pure technique, honed discipline. Are you a soldier? The question hangs heavy with respect and recognition. It's the exit. It really is the exit. The masked prisoner's voice cracks with desperate joy as they approach the gate. But Dante yanks him back, alarm flashing in his eyes. Wait, do you see that over there? A watchtower looms against the sky, its presence turning their moment of triumph into another nightmare. Freedom was always just an illusion. The spiky-haired boy stares at the ominous tower with growing dread. Do you think there's anyone in there? His teal-haired companion suggests the unthinkable. Parting ways here, at the threshold of escape. Don't be ridiculous. But then, pop, a gray figure materializes, and their worst fears begin to take shape. What is that thing? The dark-haired boy stares in confusion at the potato-like creature with glaring eyes. Is that a sweet potato? Don't you call me a sweet potato? The creature's angry retort echoes through the debris field. But then recognition strikes. Oh, I know him. He was in my class. Get behind me. This isn't just any creature. That's one of the shoulders. What? A shoulder? The confusion spreads like wildfire as more figures in orange emerge. Clonk, clonk. Traffic cones scatter as they move with purpose. Doom. The sound reverberates across cracked concrete as a new threat materializes. I am Drillhead. The introduction chills them to the bone. Another shoulder reveals himself, and the danger multiplies exponentially. The gaunt figure approaches with messianic delusion burning in his eyes. I am the man closest to becoming the supreme leader. He reaches for Dante with skeletal fingers. Teacher, come with me. But Dante's masked companion intervenes with desperate urgency. Not the teacher. He's coming with us. T.O.B. continued. The battle for Dante's soul hangs in the balance. The orange jumpsuit warrior spins through the air, debris flying from his devastating impact. Who the hell are you? Glowing eyes burn with fury as authority is challenged. Stay out of this. The stern-faced figure commands respect, but his opponent refuses to yield. I found him first. Territory and pride clash in this desolate combat zone.
This stray mutt thinks he can crawl in here and give me attitude. The spiky-haired warrior poses dramatically, confidence radiating from every movement. Someone ought to teach you to fear your shoulders. But then something extraordinary happens. He begins to spin, creating a whirlwind effect. Is that ballet? Even in combat, art finds a way.
He's coming. The blonde prisoner shouts in warning as chaos erupts around them. The black-haired fighter lunges forward with tremendous force. Wham! Crack! Echoes through the urban wasteland. Hee. His smug grin reveals absolute confidence. Too slow. Too slow. The enemy cannot match his speed, cannot comprehend his power. Stomp, stomp, stomp. The gaunt figure descends like an avalanche, each step shaking the earth itself. Aya! The terrified prisoner clutches his head as the ground rumbles beneath unstoppable force. Slam thud. Impact craters form where the monster lands. Rambutan! The blue-haired boy's desperate scream cuts through the chaos. Raw power has arrived. Huh. The teal-haired boy's confusion turns to shock as the truth emerges. I heard a woman's voice just now. A woman. She's a woman. The revelation spreads like wildfire through the crowd. Flap. Movement disrupts the scene as everyone processes this unexpected discovery. It's all because of me. Guilt consumes the teal-haired figure as chaos swirls around the revealed truth. Stop. The dark-haired boy's desperate plea echoes as violence erupts. Grab. Whack. Objects fly through the chaos while the turquoise-haired figure cries out in terror. Ugh. Dante. The name rings out like a prayer in hell. Hiya! Frantic screams punctuate the mayhem as swish and motion blur through the industrial nightmare. F. Dante. The turquoise-haired boy clutches at Dante's arm in desperation. What's wrong with him? The question hangs in the air as confusion spreads. Snap out of it. Are you okay? But Dante appears stunned, possibly injured, his usually sharp mind clouded. Just run. The gray-scarved figure urges flight as the situation spirals beyond control. Jolt. Rumble. The gaunt man's pursuit reaches its terrifying crescendo, each step an earthquake of determination. Motion blur trails his relentless advance as shadows loom behind him. Snatch. His aggressive tactics pay off as he seizes his prize. Thud. The impact sends dust clouds rising like the apocalypse itself. Dante. The final scream echoes, but will it be heard? GAH. The sound of violence echoes through the training area as another inmate crumples to the ground. A muscular prisoner with dark hair studies the fallen man with cold calculation. Were you in the special forces or something? The smaller inmate grins with deadly confidence. Yeah, I used to be about the real fights too. The atmosphere shifts as the muscular man's voice cuts through the tension like a blade. Slick, break him down. In the dim prison corridors, authority fractures like brittle steel. A spike-haired figure barks orders. Use every dirty trick in the book. Just make sure he doesn't get any fog. Slam. A door crashes shut with finality. The muscular man in his justice is blind shirt seethes with frustration. The hound is an irresponsible bastard. Leadership hangs in the balance as voices rise. Want me to take over? Despite the chaos, dark humor cuts through the tension like a knife through fog. The bearded giant chuckles as he teases Inko about his artistic talents. Maybe that's a good quality for becoming a supreme leader too. Slick weighs in with growing confidence, his spiked hair catching the dim light. Actually, I think my IQ's been going up lately. Even in hell, they find reasons to laugh. But beneath the banter, desperation lurks. The gaunt predator reveals his true intentions, fishing a glowing blue orb from his pocket. But I ain't sharing it with the hound. His grin is pure malice as he towers over the wounded figure below. The dark-skinned man crouches protectively, but what can he do? The gaunt man's voice drips with mockery. Hey, brat. That blue orb pulses with power and deadly temptation. Tumble. The inmate crashes into the underground kingdom like prey into a spider's web. A muscular, bald tyrant spreads his arms wide, welcoming his newest victim. Welcome to my underground kingdom. The fallen prisoner, glasses cracked, hope shattered, can only stare up at his captor. In exchange, I want you to work for me. The terms are simple: slavery in return for information about their teacher. The blue orb dangles like salvation and damnation combined. You do that, and you'll never go without fog again. The white-haired prisoner's piercing blue eyes reflect pure terror as the dark-haired captor presses his advantage. Now, think carefully. There won't be any other offers. Gulp. The sound of a man swallowing his fear. Then, chomp. Blood. Violence. The metallic ceiling bears witness to another soul's destruction. Chomp. The sound that changes everything. Blood spatters across the industrial floor like abstract art painted in violence. Slick. The muscle, the enforcer, crumples. Two witnesses freeze in horror, their eyes wide with disbelief. The dark-haired man's face contorts in shock. The spiked-hair fighter can only stare. How quickly the hunter becomes the hunted. How swiftly power shifts in this concrete hell. What has happened? The question hangs in blood-soaked air as Slick lies motionless, his throat a gaping wound. He ripped out Slick's throat. Slick. But the real horror isn't the corpse, it's the killer. Wild-haired, blue-eyed, blood painting his grin like war paint. Crack. Something has awakened in Fogland's depths. Something that feeds on flesh and fear. In the underground's cold embrace, hope withers like flowers in winter. The wild-haired inmate contemplates his abandonment. I wonder if Rambutan and Lychee managed to break out. They probably did by now. His voice carries the weight of resignation. They would have gone without me. Why would they wait for me, anyway? I'm done for. Even friendship seems impossible in this place where survival trumps loyalty. Rumors twist like smoke in this underground kingdom. How did the rumor get so twisted? The dark-haired prisoner sweats nervously as truth and fiction blur. The masked figure's confirmation chills the air. Yes, it's true. I created a humongous piece of fog out of thin air and swallowed it whole. Like the Eiffel Tower of fog itself. Bulls asterisk asterisk asterisk. Don't you lie to me. But some lies are more terrifying than truth. Science wars with superstition in the depths of hell. The glasses-wearing prisoner argues passionately against blind faith. No, fog wasn't made. His counterpart's wide eyes reflect fear of the impossible. Then comes the revelation that changes everything. Fog is something like a gift from God that suddenly fell out of the sky. A cosmique accident, a divine mistake. What? The question everyone asks when heaven crashes to earth. The meteorite's blue glow pulses with otherworldly power as the cone-hatted authority figure delivers crushing news. It's been 50 years since, and word has it that there isn't much fog left. So this fog is a limited resource. That's right. Scarcity breeds desperation. That's why all the prisoners are scrambling to get what's left of it. Thud! Another body hits the floor. The price of power in a world running dry. Flanch! The sound of realization as an inmate discovers the grotesque truth. A lifeless body becomes a commodity. He died after taking some fog. The wild-haired prisoner's manic eyes light up with ghoulish inspiration. Do you think you can separate the fog from his blood? Maybe with that 3D fuse machine? What? Even death offers no escape from extraction. The dead become resources for the desperate living. The glasses wearer tries reason against madness. If it's about fog concentration, why don't you take deep breaths through your nose instead? The fog mist is literally everywhere. But the masked figure erupts in fury, grabbing him by the collar. Are you messing with me? Why would anyone look for fog if that was enough? The bald maniac's eyes gleam with dangerous knowledge. You can't collect air. Science becomes salvation in the most unlikely place. Yes, you can. You can condense air. The dark-haired man's animated gestures paint possibilities in the stale underground air. His older companion stares with pale, startled disbelief. Clunk, the sound of understanding clicking into place. It's time for breakfast. Even in the depths of hell, knowledge sparks hope. Even condemned men can dream of tomorrow. Reality crashes down like a sledgehammer. The masked prisoner's eyes widen as the terrible truth dawns. Something is seriously wrong. His body convulses in despair as he realizes the scope of the horror. No, bodies scattered like broken dolls. Flop. Another figure approaches with resignation etched in every line. The underground kingdom reveals its true nature. Not a refuge, but a slaughterhouse. The Chow Hall becomes a battlefield of hierarchy and hunger. What do you want, punk? The muscular inmate's blood-stained mask transforms him into a demon of appetite. Yeah, can't you see we're in the queue? Get in line. Violence simmers beneath every word. Are you new here? Don't you know how the Chow Hall works? EK. The dismembered hand raises like a flag of conquest. Water. Even basic needs become weapons.
A purple object sits in the glass, like a specimen of hope. Water drips. Plop. Each drop a countdown to salvation or damnation. The masked figure watches in shadowy contemplation as droplets gather on the glasses wearer's face. Then breakthrough pierces the gloom. It worked. Clear, blue water sparkles with possibility. It's fog water, the eureka moment that could change everything or destroy it all.
Madness and hope collide in the underground's depths. I'm a genius. I am saved. The dark-haired man's manic grin spreads like wildfire. No one will ever mess with me anymore. But shadows whisper different intentions. I'm going to kill him. Death and betrayal lurk behind every alliance. The purple helmet lies discarded as its owner realizes, I got tricked. Yes, agreement seals fates in this concrete purgatory. Fear paralyzes the wide-eyed prisoner as intimidation works its dark magic. Ugh, his nervous grip betrays his terror. Cut the crap and get the hell out of my face. The muscular figure's stern command cuts through pretense like a blade. Sure, you got it. Submission comes quickly in this world. The silver-haired strategist knows the truth. Everyone here knows about Dante and his secrets. Information is power, and power is survival. Science offers hope in the form of elegant simplicity. The mechanism is quite simple. The fog catcher stands against the dawn sky like a monument to human ingenuity. Water vapor in the air condenses at the dew point when the temperature drops. Each component serves a purpose. Mesh nets collecting moisture, breathable screens replacing barriers. The bottom can be made into a curved shape so the dew can be guided into a collector. Innovation born from desperation. The moment of truth arrives with startling clarity. The water collected from a mist will then contain a certain concentration of fog. The pale figure's distorted features contort in confusion. What the hell is this? But as he tastes the moisture from their contraption, realization dawns like a twisted sunrise. It tastes like... His eyes widen with shocking understanding. Fog! Discovery and horror merge in that single, devastating moment. Euphoria explodes through the underground kingdom like a shockwave. It's fog. We have secured an infinite source of fog. The dark-haired genius spreads his arms in manic celebration. The teacher, voices echo through the corridors as word spreads. Whoosh! The scene shifts to formality, a tie being adjusted, nervous energy crackling. It looks great on you, sir. Applause follows approval. Even in hell, ceremony matters. The teacher's transformation begins with clothing and ends with corruption. How do you like the tailoring? Nervous energy radiates from the newly dressed figure. Well, it's quite well made. It actually feels like a proper shirt. But clothing is just the beginning. You're now one of us. Welcome to the drill head crew. The royal treatment comes with a price. You'll have to become the supreme leader. Power is a gift that devours the receiver. The Feast of Fog approaches with apocalyptic grandeur. We're going to hold the Grand Feast of Fog today. The orange-clad figure's exaggerated features beam with twisted joy. Thanks to you, we don't have to save fog anymore. But the true purpose chills the air. For my ascension, his ascension, the teacher's confusion mirrors our own horror. What monster is about to be born from this unholy communion? Boom! Bang, bang, bang. Dun, dun. The rhythmic sounds of industry merge with insanity as workers manipulate the precious fog. A massive pile of shimmering blue orbs grows like a mountain of crystallized madness. That's enough. What? That's all fog. The teacher's disbelief echoes through the smoky air. Every last piece of fog, save for an ascension attempt this very day. The pale figure's determination radiates like heat from a forge of ambition. Do you believe in my ascension? The question thunders through the chamber as orange-clad followers raise their voices. Who? We believe. Their devotion is absolute, terrifying. Ha! Ascension. The pale figure's laugh echoes with promises of transformation. Watch closely, teacher. Glowing orbs dance in his hands like captured stars. This is the birth of a true king. Gobble. The feast begins with terrible hunger and impossible dreams. Yes, the crowd erupts as their leader consumes power itself. What? Is he taking everything for himself? The teacher's shock pierces through the chaos. Ascension. Blue energy swirls like a maelstrom of ambition. Gobble echoes repeatedly. The sound of transformation, of consumption, of change. Do you feel any changes, sir? Not yet, but something stirs. Halt. The moment balances on a knife's edge between godhood and destruction. Failure tastes bitter as fog itself. Darn it. I guess today is not the day. The ghostly figure trembles over his bowl of unused power. Are you all right? Concern mingles with disappointment in the sterile chamber. That's all, because your potential is vast and limitless. Even failure becomes flattery in this twisted kingdom. You can always try again. We have an endless supply of fog now. Hope and horror walk hand in hand toward tomorrow's attempt. Ascension. The word transforms from hope to reality as the cosmic realm unfolds. It's the ascension. How is it? Do you feel a new talent awakening? Oh, yes. The muscular figure's consciousness expands beyond mortal limits. I can feel the universe. I'm standing where the game came from. Stars witness his transformation as divine figures emerge from cosmic depths. The industrial chaos fades into celestial enlightenment. Was once man becomes something more? We all live on a pale and blue. The cosmic truth begins to unfold as reality warps around them. The bulging blue mass pulses with otherworldly energy, while the glasses-wearing boy's eyes widen in shock. Something monumental approaches. Boom! The explosion tears through dimensional barriers. The fall. The moment of absolute terror as ascension becomes catastrophe. What goes up must come down, violently, completely, devastatingly. You either ascend. The dark object trembles in his grip as the ultimate truth is revealed. Or fall. The bespectacled teacher's anxiety transforms into horror as he witnesses the consequence. The boss has fallen. The floral-crowned figure's shock mirrors everyone's disbelief. Dense fog pours down like a biblical plague. So much fog. This is exciting. But excitement in hell is just another word for terror dressed in orange jumpsuits. Blue fog orbs explode like fireworks in a sterile laboratory as the ghostly figure's elongated features twist with manic excitement. Only then did the feast of fog truly begin. Pop, pop. The sound effects punctuate chaos as multiple orange-clad figures watch in shock and amazement. Look, they're all exploding. It's a whole feast. The descent into madness becomes a celebration of destruction. Failure becomes food. Death becomes dinner. Stop. Everyone, stop, or all of US will die. The bald figure's warning cuts through the chaos like a knife through fog. If you eat all that fog at once, you will. Death lurks in every glowing orb. Teacher, you have to stop them. You must lead US now. The teacher, desperate voices cry for salvation from the very man they corrupted. Me? That's what you want. Leadership forced upon the unwilling in humanity's darkest hour. Snicker, snicker. Mockery echoes through the surreal nightmare as the brown-haired figure relishes another's torment. I told you. I told you. I told you. The disheveled teacher's glasses fog with tears and terror. Be brother? Help me. Get me out of here. His desperate plea falls on deaf ears. Don't you get it? Even family bonds dissolve in this blue-glowing hell where face blindness becomes soul blindness. Stop it. The scream pierces through the psychological horror as prosopagnosia, selective face blindness, becomes the cruelest curse. It's called prosopagnosia, or selective face blindness. I don't remember my brother's face. The suited figure's confession cuts deeper than any physical wound. When I might see a piece of cake, I see an angry old man, a crying woman, or even the devil. Reality becomes a funhouse mirror where love becomes unrecognizable. Dante. Dante. The name tears from his throat like a lifeline thrown to a drowning man. In the dim makeshift tent, consciousness returns with violent confusion. Are you up? The blue-haired boy's concern cuts through the chaos of awakening. What happened? The blonde shock mirrors everyone's bewilderment. After the fog-fueled nightmare, even safety feels like another dream within a dream. We brought you back. The dark-haired rescuer's relief floods the underground sewers as Dante regains consciousness. We were lucky we had the drillhead's hideout on the map. But questions burn brighter than gratitude. Did you go all the way there? To save me? Of course. We promised to break out of prison together, remember? Brotherhood forged in concrete and desperation. I'm sorry, I must have held you up. We should get going. Even heroes blame themselves for others' sacrifices. Crackle, crackle. The fire spits sparks as they discuss the drill head's catastrophic fall. Did you say the drill head fell? Yes, that's what everyone was saying. The blonde's calm explanation contrasts sharply with the glasses wearer's terror. People started exploding everywhere around me. It was a whole mess. The campfire's warmth can't chase away the chill of those memories. Fog overdose, a new way to die in this concrete purgatory. But everyone has a different potential and capacity. The orange-clad figure speaks truth beneath the moon-faced nightmare hovering above. Once you go beyond your limit, you explode. Death becomes the price of ambition exceeded. That's why everyone is always waiting for someone to fall. Vultures in human form. What does it mean to ascend? Do you surpass your limits? The questions that haunt every prisoner who dreams of more than survival. When that happens, they become. The sentence hangs unfinished like a half-built bridge to godhood. Ascensions are extremely rare. Most fall in the process. Death probability calculated with clinical precision. So you gain another ability? Is that it? Why would you risk your life for that? But in a place where hope is rationed and freedom costs everything, even impossible odds seem worth the gamble of ascension. Found you. Two simple words that shatter the night's fragile peace. The dark-haired searcher stands atop the industrial tower like a predator who has finally cornered his prey. Swoosh, CGW, gurgle, scurry, the sounds of movement and darkness, of hunted becoming hunter. His finger pressed to his lips demand silence. But silence in Fogland is just another word for the calm before the storm breaks. Huff huff. The gas mask can't filter out exhaustion as workers toil in the blue-lit industrial nightmare. Scoop scoop. Ice becomes commodity in this frozen hell. Explosions here. Explosions there. Never a fog-free day around here. The white-suited figures catalog chaos like accountants tracking apocalypse. Each explosion marks another soul consumed by ambition, another dream transformed into debris. Hey, this one has a pretty high concentration. The glasses wearer kneels beside, glowing remains like an archaeologist of tragedy. He must have been on the verge of ascension. Pity. Death becomes data point. Backpacker. Awesome. You rolled them up nicely. The red-haired figure in the black coat offers reward for collection services. Did you find the guy? A year has passed, but some hunts never end. Actually, I don't think I've been paid enough. The paper bag figure's muffled voice carries the weight of underpaid desperation. I mean, this job comes straight from the Fogland operations office. Shouldn't you be paying more? But the red-haired man's sinister grin promises payment beyond currency. There you go again with your tricks. Can you give me more? Sure. Bring that to me. His glowing eyes suggest the price might be higher than expected. It's so cold. Dante curls against the chill that penetrates even orange fabric. If only I hadn't had them refashioned. I would have had double layers for my pants. The light-haired companion offers warmth and comfort. Babe, are you cold? I'm okay, what about you? I'm fine too. But you're so worn down here. Even in hell's frozen depths, human connection provides the only real heat worth having. That's okay. I'm Fine. But his defensive gesture suggests otherwise as he breathes heavily. Fogland, Limbo. The title card appears over a blood-stained wall, like a chapter heading written in violets. Something feels off. The walls are huge. Where are all those marks? I didn't notice them last night. He looks very tense. The morning reveals horrors that darkness mercifully concealed. Is there anything I can do to help? The blonde's offer of assistance pierces through Dante's isolation. Oh, can you carry this bag for me? Sure. Small acts of kindness in hell carry the weight of salvation. There's something very important. The conversation turns toward faith, toward family, toward Catholic traditions, and personal struggles with belief. In this place where God seems absent, faith becomes the heaviest burden. That should be fine. Oh, you'll do it for us, won't you? The blue-haired boy's plea carries the weight of drowning men grasping for spiritual life preservers. I only know the Lord's Prayer. That will do. Even incomplete faith becomes complete hope when shared among the desperate. Stomp. The sound interrupts their moment of spiritual preparation. Dante, start praying. Because in hell, prayer isn't optional, it's survival. 1. Your kingdom come. Dante's prayer erupts like a battle cry against the darkness. 2. Give us today our daily bread. Each word strikes with desperate intensity. And 3. Lead us not into temptation. Thwack. The prayer becomes weapon as violence interrupts divine intervention. Even the Lord's Prayer can't shield against the brutal reality of Fogland's concrete hell. But perhaps, just perhaps, someone heard. The violence erupts without warning. An orange-clad figure launches a devastating kick, sending shockwaves through the dusty battlefield as Rambutan gasps for breath. Lychee fights to maintain consciousness while his companion desperately tries to rally him. But through the settling dust, a new threat emerges. Mr. 182 materializes like a specter, his very presence shifting the balance of this brutal confrontation. Rage incarnate. The blonde prisoner's fury knows no bounds as he confronts his betrayer, weapon raised with deadly intent. His promise of death cuts through the air like a blade. How did you find us? The question hangs heavy as the glasses-wearing man recoils in terror. Behind them, confusion spreads. What force could drive someone to such murderous desperation? Panic consumes them as they flee. The blue-haired prisoner's desperation echoes across the wasteland. This relentless pursuer won't be shaken off. They debate scaling the wall, but their hunter's speed is inhuman. Stop. Don't ever stop. The chase becomes a nightmare of endurance, until momentum betrays them and gravity claims its victim. Dante coughs and struggles to rise from the unforgiving ground, his glasses reflecting the harsh reality before him. The wild-haired prisoner's frustration boils over. He gave the plant everything it needed, yet it refused to grow. What twisted logic governs this place where even nature defies hope? The answer carries the weight of their first day in hell. Time becomes the enemy as the scarred prisoner demands answers about the delayed growth. His companion pleads for patience. Everything needs time, at least a week. But patience is a luxury they can't afford. The gray-haired boy declares his intention to leave, sparking urgent pleas for the safety of two innocent lives hanging in the balance. The blonde prisoner's demands intensify. He's revealed everything. Now let him go. But his captor poses a chilling question about death and dying. Is it acceptable to perish if your executioners are the ones you trust? The dark-haired boy snaps at the philosophical cruelty, sensing something fundamentally wrong with this twisted interrogation. Chaos erupts as escape plans crystallize. The blue-haired prisoner urges Dante to grab their companion and leap to freedom. But hesitation costs precious seconds. Wait, something's wrong. The wall looms before them, like salvation and damnation combined. As desperation mounts, one voice cuts through the madness. Dante, start praying already. The teacher comes with us. Dante finds himself caught between loyalty and survival as his fellow prisoners make their stand. Behind him lurks a figure capable of killing without hesitation. They had promised to escape together, but promises made in hell carry the stench of betrayal. Blood on the ground tells the story of those who tried before. The gray-haired prisoner's apology cuts like a knife as he forcefully intervenes, saving Dante from immediate danger. What the hell? The shock reverberates through the chaos. In a surreal shift, someone casually asks about carrying a bag, as if normalcy could exist in this place where violence and mundane requests collide without warning. Hope materializes in inches. It moved 12 today. The blonde prisoner's urgent movements create ripples in the air as observers track their mysterious progress. The bearded man's excitement builds until the devastating realization hits. It's gone. Someone must be planning another prison break. But in Fogland, hope and horror walk hand in hand. Terror incarnate looms before them. The blue-haired prisoner faces a monstrous creature with a gaping maw, blood painting the nightmare scene in crimson streaks. His companion's warning echoes through the chaos. It's not safe, don't touch it. But in Fogland's twisted ecosystem, even the most basic survival instincts might not be enough. The gargoyle, a statue of stone that reads minds and commands fog. The gray-haired prisoner questions its very existence while his companion reveals the truth. It's literally carved from stone, never moving until someone dares climb the wall. Is it even alive? The question hangs unanswered, as deadly as the creature itself. Despair weighs heavier than stone as the turquoise-haired girl speaks the truth. There's no getting out of this place. The more they dream of freedom, the harder reality becomes. But the gray-haired boy refuses to surrender his promise. He swore to break them out. Their clasped hands become a lifeline in an ocean of hopelessness.
The plan unfolds with deadly precision. Screams pierce the air as the massive skull, with glowing blue eyes, becomes the stage for their gambit. It took the bait. The bag of fogland and the desperate traitor both fell into the trap. They saw Dante with the fog smuggler. Victory tastes sweet until the inevitable fall begins.
Freedom. The blue-haired prisoner crashes to earth with a thunderous thud, blood-spattered but alive. Sunlight breaks through. They're outside. They're free. Lychee. His voice carries pure joy across the open landscape. We did it. 3 simple words that mean everything when spoken under an open sky after escaping hell itself. But victory carries a terrible price. The red-haired boy's shock gives way to horror as the bloody stone structure reveals its true nature. A ghostly figure materializes with deadly intent, moving like death incarnate. Click, click. The sound builds like a countdown to doom. The white-haired figure's bloodied face tells the story of what freedom really costs. The creature strikes with bone-crushing force. Blood explodes across the panels as massive jaws snap shut like a steel trap. Lychee. The gray-haired boy's desperate cry echoes as he falls toward the monster's maw. His defensive energy barely slows the inevitable. Water and violence merge as he's thrown back with devastating impact. The skeletal giant looms with glowing blue eyes and muscular arms reaching like death's embrace. The blonde prisoner stands defiant, telling Mukal the harsh truth. There's no getting out. His clenched fist speaks of determination born from desperation. When the creature charges with inhuman speed, he meets it head-on with a powerful strike to its face. The battle intensifies as the blue-haired prisoner hits the ground hard, fragments flying from the impact. A menacing blue energy wave cuts through the air with a deadly hum. Terror fills his voice as he pleads desperately. Stop. Stop it. But in Fogland, mercy is just another word for weakness. Destruction rains down as walls smash and crumble. The white-haired boy with striking blue eyes emerges from the chaos, bloodied but alive, lifting debris with desperate strength. Beneath the rubble, the dark-haired man with glasses reaches out in terror. Please help me. I'm so sorry. The trap has claimed another victim in Fogland's endless cycle of violence. The gray-haired boy crashes down with bone-jarring impact, grunting in pain as he lands beside his terrified companion. The glasses-wearing prisoner clings to him, voice breaking. I thought I was going to die up there. They kicked me, ditched me, tried to kill me. Why would they do that? The question echoes with the bitter taste of betrayal. Mr. 182's voice cuts through the terror like a blade. There's no getting out of here. His pale hair and rugged face, marked by dirt and cuts, speak of hard-earned wisdom. The frightened prisoner with messy black hair grasps at him in panic, demanding answers about the monstrous creature. If you want to survive, vow never to try leaving again. The blue-haired prisoner's exhausted face tells the story of survival against impossible odds. Blood and dirt mark his features as ghostly white eyes appear beside him, a supernatural reminder of mortality. It's gone, whispers the dark-haired man through his panic. Was it real or illusion? But the question that haunts them most, what happened to Lychee and Rambutan? The white-haired prisoner delivers the verdict with chilling finality. They're dead. His bloodied features show no emotion as the dark-haired boy recoils in shock. That wasn't an illusion. Anyone who tries to leave ends up dead. The bloody body in orange serves as grim proof. No matter how strong they are, the hollow ones always claim their victims. The paper bag-headed figures question drips with sinister curiosity. Would you like to find out what you taste like? The gray-haired boy recoils in disgust as a snake-like appendage reaches toward him. Ooh, gross. Get away from me. But the creature finds his fear cute. What brings such a brave little kid to this nightmarish warehouse? Mr. 182 commands attention with chilling authority, holding up a photograph of his target. Prison number 182. Pale hair, distinctive moles, missing right arm. The long-headed creature's interest peaks with hungry anticipation. He looks tasty. Do you want me to eat him? Mr. 182's nonchalant response suggests this partnership between monster and man runs deeper than mere convenience. The paper bag soldier asserts his identity against the larger threat, but their confrontation is interrupted by an ominous presence. It's back. The broken figure emerges with a gaping chest wound and cracked features, a testament to some epic battle. Hold on, look at that. Its teeth are broken. Even the monsters can be damaged in this hellish realm. Disbelief echoes through the chamber as the muscular bearded man questions the impossible. How can anyone hurt the gargoyle? The bald prisoner shares his shock. He never knew it was possible. A cloaked figure speaks prophecy after 5 years of silence, mentioning massive omens and cracks in chains. The excitement builds as someone demands they write down every word of this historic moment. The gray-haired boy leans forward with incredulous intensity, questioning the very existence of the Hollow One. Are you talking about the massive white thing? His companion nods grimly. The implications sink in like poison. Did this legendary creature really kill Lychee and Rambutan? The barren landscape around them feels suddenly more hostile, more alive with unseen threats. Mr. 182's paper bag mask conceals nothing of his grim certainty as he confronts the dark-haired prisoner's desperate disbelief. You saw what happened. The harsh truth cuts deeper than any blade. If you go up that wall, they will kill you. There is no way out of here. The prisoner's anguish explodes in denial, but reality doesn't bend to hope. I said, shut up. The white-haired prisoner's fist connects with brutal force, sending his companion's glasses flying. The dark-haired man recoils from the impact as nearby prisoners discuss the terrifying truth. Those monsters are the prison's security system. Are they hallucinations or machines? The question hangs heavy as violence settles the immediate debate. Regret washes over the bald prisoner as realization dawns. I should have seen through it. Why would a dying couple help a stranger? His desperation to escape had blinded him to their true motives. But the question that tortures him now cuts deeper than any physical wound. Why did that man save me? What hidden agenda lurks behind acts of apparent kindness? The gray-haired boy trembles with the weight of his cruel words, admitting he was harsh to someone who might just be a really nice person. His companion with glasses notices the wrapped injury on his hand, a silent testament to recent violence. Hey, what happened to your hand? The question opens doorways to pain neither wants to explore. Mr. 182 insists his hand is fine, but his companion sees through the deception. The swelling tells a different story. Something's fishy about this injury. His friend's persistence cuts through Mr. 182's emotional detachment. Are you sure it doesn't hurt? But in Fogland, admitting pain is admitting weakness, and weakness is a luxury no one can afford. The white-haired prisoner stands near the wall with fresh bandages on his hands, watching his companion struggle with a makeshift mask. Remove it, I need to eat. But survival trumps comfort. You can't eat with that hand anyway. The masked figure's frustration grows as he realizes the severity of his situation. You don't understand how serious this is. Fear creeps into their voices as they acknowledge their vulnerability. Even a random thug could kill us right now. The glasses-wearing prisoner suggests going to the hospital, but the masked figure's doubt is palpable. Is there actually a doctor here? The memory of a past altercation with medical staff hints at the unreliable nature of help in this forsaken place. Hope sparks in the debris as the gray-haired boy searches frantically through the rubble. This place is bigger than you think. His excitement builds as he recalls Lychee drawing out her map. And suddenly, there it is, the map. His face reflects determination mixed with desperate hope as he uncovers what might be their salvation. It's here. The orange jumpsuit prisoner's excitement explodes as he holds up the crucial paper. His masked companion observes with dark humor while detailed maps spread across the floor like promises of possibility. The narrative reflects on faith and failure, on mother's beliefs and son's doubts. There really is a hospital, but that's just the beginning of what these papers reveal. The map reveals Fogland's pizza-like structure, but a crucial piece remains missing. The center is blank. The white-haired boy's frustration mounts as he questions what facility could oversee such a massive operation. His companion's curiosity peaks as he discovers something folded underneath. What's that? Sometimes salvation hides beneath the obvious. The map of the center, Fog HQ headquarters, spreads before them like a blueprint to freedom. The glasses-wearing prisoner's excitement builds as he declares his plan, but Mr. 182 wobbles with exhaustion, struggling to maintain balance. If you go to the center, but the injured man's plea for rest cuts through the strategy session. Even hope has its limits. Business has been thriving in the information broker's den, where guards in orange stand watch outside. They ask me anything shop. Kasim, the scruffy red-haired broker with aggressive tattoos, announces they have a customer. But as the guard hesitates about letting them in, an ominous doom echoes through the alley. Some information comes with a deadly price. The Bone Eater, a name that sends chills through even the hardened information broker. The confident man in the white cap leans forward with predatory interest, asking what brings them here. But when they reveal the chained figure's photograph, shock ripples through the room. Isn't this the one the Hound is looking for? Some hunts transcend mere survival. Two clients seeking the same target. What a jackpot! The hat-wearing broker's sinister grin widens as he names his price, your life. But when he threatens the spiky-haired visitor, his gaze locks onto something appetizing. I'd say that should be enough. The threat hangs in the air like the scent of fresh blood in a butcher's shop. It tastes like warm beach. The wild red-haired man's grotesque realization emerges from his bloodied mouth as prisoners scream in horror. Get to work and find him. The bald man's urgent command cuts through the chaos while an armored figure looms in the shadows. The torn photograph lies in a pool of blood, evidence of information extracted through the most visceral means possible. The map on the table tells its own story. Leachy never made it to this area. The orange-suited prisoners study the women's block location as memories surface of a cheerful blonde girl waving goodbye to Dante. See you later, everybody. But nostalgia carries poison when it reminds them that some goodbyes become permanent. No way. I'm sure she's fine. The dark-haired prisoner's confidence crumbles as the scene shifts to reveal a woman with smeared clown makeup in a state of distressing vulnerability. Shake it harder. Her voice carries forced revelry masking deeper anguish. I was assigned to the women's block. The truth about what happens in Fogland shadows begins to surface. In the foggy desert, the blonde girl in her pale pink blazer approaches the armed tactical officer with innocent curiosity. Get on. His instruction carries weight beyond mere transportation. But when he calls her baby, something shifts in her awareness. Something was out of place. Trust becomes a fragile thing when predators wear the masks of protectors. Are you the science teacher? The blonde girl's bright eyes shine with excitement, unaware of the sinister truth. The shadowy figure's mask conceals deadly intent as he confirms her hopes with dark laughter. Little birdie, the endearment drips with menace. We are going to ride to the end of the world together. The orange-haired figure's wild declaration promises a journey no child should ever take. The blonde girl's shock gives way to desperate explanation as she reveals the stained Queenstown sign, evidence of her kidnapping and forced arrival. In the crowded cafeteria, her vulnerability becomes complete exposure. None of the teachers remembered me. The administration, even her family, no one searches for the forgotten. In Fogland, invisibility is the cruelest prison of all. Are you crying again? The blonde girl sits on the floor, tears streaking her cheeks as the dark-haired man expresses his boredom with cruel indifference. Her denial crumbles under his sarcastic questioning about her fog research. From what I've seen, you spend the whole day weeping in a corner. Be honest. Even hope becomes a luxury when despair is all you're allowed to afford. The betrayal cuts deeper than any blade. A sinister man with long black hair taunts the terrified blonde girl, her makeup smeared, her composure shattered. She gasps that it's hopeless for deceiving the boss. The knife gleams in the industrial shadows as bystanders watch in horror. Trust has become the deadliest weapon of all. Knox's world crumbles around him as sweat beads on his distressed face. Callie sits defensively, her wide eyes pleading as she insists she can create fog. But a muscular tormentor with fiery hair mocks them both, calling her a liar, taunting Knox for believing in false hope. The machinery hums ominously in the background as reality crashes down. Dark warnings echo through Queenstown as the black-haired boy promises Callie will regret her choices. The orange-haired giant cradles the blonde girl possessively, his sharp features twisted with dangerous affection. He whispers about keeping his baby bird nested in his arms forever. Behind them looms the shadow of Callie, the tendon sorceress herself. The interrogation begins with deceptive casualness. How is the fog research coming along? The blonde girl, tear-streaked and bandaged, confesses her struggle. Knox won't leave her alone. Her captor's skepticism grows with each nervous word. Sugar, time, excuses. But beneath his questioning lurks a more terrifying truth about what he truly expects from her. Time? Is that all you needed? The muscular man explodes in fury at her simple request. The blonde girl panics, realizing her mistake too late as footsteps echo ominously. She shouldn't have revealed her needs, shouldn't have mentioned Knox. Now she flees in terror, wondering what consequences await her moment of honesty. The wild-haired creature grins maniacally. Yeah, she won't be taking your time anymore, baby bird. Knox's bloodied hand dangles grotesquely as the girl stares in shock. Her panic transforms in a horrified realization. The agreement they made. Knox paid the ultimate price for her freedom to work. Now, she has all the time she needs. Blood splatters the ground as the long-haired figure shakes Knox's lifeless form. You don't need anything else now, do you? The blonde monster shrieks with delight. Yippee! While the orange-clad figure laughs maniacally. Finally, they can start making fog. In Queenstown, death is just another ingredient in their twisted recipe. The masked figure's glowing blue eyes burn with irritation as he confronts his companion. Your breathing is annoying me, and you're too slow. The scared man staggers backward as a sharp whack echoes through the dilapidated space. But the masked one has priorities. He's hungry, and pretending to be an inmate takes energy. They stand at the edge of destiny itself. The masked figure explains grimly. The muscular man can't fight anymore, his hand too damaged. They're backed against the cliff now, one step from death. Behind them, an Ask Me Anything sign promises information. But at what cost? Moving forward is their only choice. In the cluttered information den, shocking revelations unfold. The prisoner database reveals that number 182 was confirmed dead, but hasn't been reissued in 22 years. The bald man suggests someone stole a dead man's number. But what if the records are wrong? What if death itself can be deceived in Fogland? The truth hits like a thunderbolt. That means he didn't die at all. The red-haired inmate in his bucket hat processes the impossible. Someone has remained young despite decades of supposed death. White hair from age, yet a youthful face. Maybe his ability keeps him young. The question hangs heavy. Why hide such power? Welcome to Dumpling Village. The masked figure approaches the entrance with cautious optimism, his companion nervously beside him. Warm lights beckon from beyond the shadowy pathway, promising medical help they desperately need. But is this sanctuary real, or just another trap in Fogland's endless maze of deception? The stronger ones lurk near the center, the round-headed figure warns. Dumpling Village bustles with life. Orange-clad figures moving through streets alive with commerce and electricity. What's this? The owl-like character marvels at discovering an actual main street. In this prison hellscape, civilization still somehow thrives. The economic system staggers them both. Shops, electricity, a functioning society within prison walls. The bald man studies his map with growing caution. No shoulder controls this territory, making it unpredictable. In unknown territory, vigilance becomes survival. But shadows watch from every corner, and safety is always an illusion. Chaos erupts in the prison marketplace. No fog, the authority figure declares as accusations fly. A theft at the dumpling shop sends shockwaves through the crowd. Inmates point and whisper about robbery attempts while one man screams in denial. This can't be happening. Suspicion spreads like wildfire through the orange-clad masses. Give me the dumpling. The masked figure's demand sounds almost childlike in its simplicity. But the muscular vendor sees deeper insult, demanding the pride and heritage of Dumpling Village for free. Do dumplings sound like a joke to you? Cultural pride clashes with desperate hunger as tensions mount to breaking point. The burly chef brandishes his butcher's knife with deadly intent. Who the hell are you? Are you a thief too? The masked figure pleads desperately. They're not thieves. His brother has a mental illness. But accusations of theft carry a death sentence here. Just as violence seems inevitable, intervention arrives at the crucial moment. Recognition shifts everything. The bald man sweats with shock as Mr. Plump Dumpling himself appears, a rotund figure in orange and blue apron. The village master shows unexpected compassion, noticing the injury and asking about the unwell brother. Hierarchy reveals itself as subordinates defer to unexpected mercy. Forgiveness takes the form of food. The white-haired prisoner savors incredibly savory dumplings, while his companion asks about ingredients. Cafeteria leftovers, the apprentice explains cheerfully. The black-haired man spits in surprise. This doesn't taste like waste at all. Even in Fogland, small kindnesses can bloom in the darkest places. The plump dumplings are our village's pride, Mr. Plump Dumpling declares. People travel from across Fogland seeking these delicacies. But darker truths emerge. Some come for the hospital. You should give up on that, the muscular figure warns ominously. That place is no longer a hospital. Hope withers at his words. The Demon King's Castle. Lightning illuminates the menacing structure as truth unfolds like a nightmare. The burly chef's warning echoes. That place is no longer a hospital. Against the storm-racked sky, the building looms like a monument to suffering. What was once healing has become something far more sinister. Look what he did to my arm. The injured boy displays his wounds as proof of the castle's horror. The creature warns them gravely. No one has seen the Demon King and return alive. Not even the shoulders dare approach that cursed place. The boy's confusion about threats pales beside the absolute terror in everyone's eyes. Wait, what about the doctor? The black-haired prisoner asks frantically, his eyes wide with desperate need. There are no doctors, comes the flat reply. The old plump hotel sign looms behind them like a memorial to better times. As night approaches, they're offered shelter, but morning will bring no answers to their medical crisis. A long time ago, the pale-haired prisoner begins his dark confession. His arm got cut off. He was hungry. In the foggy darkness, he found a doctor and made his plea. Doctor, make me an arm. Desperation drove him to seek impossible healing from a figure shrouded in shadow. The conversation turns bitter as the white-haired prisoner recounts the doctor's cruel response. Do you expect me to make you an arm, moron? Sarcasm and confrontation followed. The doctor's insult sparked violence, a cycle of hitting that the prisoner now feels compelled to complete. Honor demands retribution, even against impossible odds. He hit me once more than I did. Now I have to go and hit him again. The white-haired prisoner's logic is terrifyingly simple. Violence demands equal response. His companion reacts with shock at this suicidal plan. Against blood-stained walls, mathematical vengeance becomes the only currency that matters. I can hear the doctor's sounds. The black-haired prisoner's enhanced hearing picks up something terrifying. Spin, spin. The repetitive sound echoes ominously. Scissors gleam in someone's grip as a shadowy figure moves past the window. The doctor is still active and preparing for something sinister. Bodies everywhere, old skeletons mixed with fresh remains. The abandoned Noah Medical Center reveals its true horror as the pale-haired prisoners survey the carnage. This is not a hospital anymore, it's a graveyard. The Dumpling Village residents spoke truth. Healing died here long ago, replaced by systematic slaughter. Are you sure there's a doctor in there? The white-haired prisoner questions, as his companion confirms hearing the sounds. Mr. 182's incredible hearing picks up activity inside the death-soaked building. But what kind of doctor works among corpses? Their investigation takes them closer to answers they may not survive learning. Maybe you can hear things others can't. The white-haired prisoner presses his companion about special abilities. Is that why you always say it's too loud? We could really use an ability right now. Desperation makes them search for any advantage. But enhanced hearing might be more curse than blessing in this place of screams. Do you see that? The black-haired prisoner peers around the corner of Noah Medical Center as a shadowy companion pulls him to safety. Hide here. They strategize about knocking on the main door, but hiding quickly after. Blood stains lead to the entrance like a crimson trail of previous visitors who never returned. Operation Ding Dong Ditch begins. The excited prisoner grins widely as they prepare their risky reconnaissance mission. His masked companion can check what's happening inside without risk, or so they hope. With a bold leap and racing footsteps, the plan launches into motion across blood-stained ground. Don't you hear anyone approaching? The anxious prisoner peers around concrete corners, met with silence. No, let's try again. Knock harder this time. The blue-eyed figure delivers powerful kicks to the door, thud echoing through empty corridors. But silence can be more terrifying than any response. Do you hear anything yet? No. The white-haired prisoner's worry deepens as silence stretches on. Is the place abandoned? What about the doctor's sounds? Should I try even harder this time? His determination builds toward a catastrophic mistake. Sometimes the loudest crashes come from the quietest moments. Shatter. Glass explodes as the orange-clad prisoner crashes through the window. What the hell did he just do? His companion screams in horror while the intruder tumbles inside, shocked by his own accident. Oops. Outside, panic spreads. Is it the Demon King? Subtlety dies in a cascade of broken glass. Step. Green pants and white shoes move deliberately through the hospital corridor as something spins ominously. Spin. The boy with glasses peers around the corner in terror, gasping "No" as recognition dawns. A shadowy figure taunts about rude visitors. Then the chilling revelation hits. Jin-soo is a doctor. The doctor advances with calculated menace, each step echoing through debris-littered corridors. The dark-haired prisoner gasps in recognition and dread. And no, this isn't just any medical professional. This is something far more sinister wearing a white coat. Jin-soo the doctor brings death, not healing, to those who seek his aid. Mr. 182 sits with his towel-bandaged head, recognizing the figure before him. Are you here to see the doctor? That's right. Fix my arm. The demand is simple, desperate. But the doctor issues an ultimatum, 3 seconds to leave. Politeness becomes a matter of survival when facing a healer turned executioner. Fix it. It hurts. The masked prisoner's blue eyes burn with pain as he demands treatment. But why should I treat you? The doctor's question cuts to the heart of medical ethics. Because it hurts. The simple honesty hangs between them as moral boundaries blur in Fogland's twisted reality. Violence erupts as the confrontation explodes into action. Thwack! Shock registers on the orange-clad prisoner's face as the green-clothed doctor displays his sinister grin. This is how you criminals always handle things, no manners whatsoever. The collision intensifies with a resounding wham as brutality replaces medical compassion. Hey, you dodged it. The dark-haired prisoner's agility saves him from the doctor's strike as he responds with a spinning kick. Wham! His counterattack sends the doctor tumbling back through debris. But the sinister figure merely smirks. Nice try, punk. In this dance of violence, dodging is just delaying the inevitable. Bad news. Mr. 182 lies vulnerable as the doctor grips his leg menacingly. You'll lose your legs too. The threat is delivered with sadistic pleasure. What are you going to do now, one-armed bastard? But intervention comes from an unexpected source as a figure in a lab coat swiftly lifts the endangered prisoner to safety. Chomp! The masked prisoner delivers a vicious kick before attempting to bite his opponent's arm. The stitched-faced doctor shows surprise, then intrigue. Thumb flexor? His medical knowledge recognizes the anatomical targeting. How interesting, he grins, realizing his opponent understands the science of combat in ways that could prove educational. Splurt. Blood erupts as the orange-suited prisoner takes a devastating hit, gasping in agony. But he recovers with fluid aggression, delivering a swift slash before spinning into calculated movement. Masseter. Iliopsoas. He names each anatomical target, transforming desperate violence into surgical precision. Knowledge becomes his weapon against the doctor's sadism. Gastrocnemius. The dark-haired prisoner thinks strategically even while dodging attacks. The green-clad doctor demonstrates his own expertise. This is how you cut tendons, his spinning hand wielding sharp instruments. You should have run when I gave you those 3 seconds. But running was never an option in this medical nightmare. Stop! The white-coated doctor shouts as chaos surrounds him. We came here to see the doctor. The inmates plead desperately, but his response cuts deep. Why do you need a hospital? You can live your messed up lives and get yourselves killed like you always do. Medical indifference becomes cruelest when help is so close yet denied. But what if I'm not a prisoner? The dark-haired man reveals his shocking truth. He's an innocent civilian caught in educational chaos. I took part as a teacher during a prisoner education project. His expensive tie and trousers become evidence of his claims. Sometimes the most unbelievable stories are the most desperately true. It's true. The frantic prisoner clutches his expensive necktie as proof of civilian status. Stefan Lucci's finest Italian designer wear. Where would a prisoner find such luxury? His desperation spills over as he requests help. Call the administration, treat his injured friend. Status symbols become lifelines when identity determines survival. Yes, he's the gym teacher. Recognition brings a moment of validation in the desolate training ground. But ominous growls echo as someone declares this is the promised day. A deadline approaches, though none was officially set. The red-haired figure's concern grows as invisible forces converge on their location. I said I'd be back when I crave for you. Remember? The menacing structure with glowing blue eyes looms as Kasim processes urgent news. He's in Dumpling Village. Someone spotted him there. Kasim's scarred face shows growing anxiety as stomping sounds echo. The bone eater stirs, and nowhere in Fogland is truly safe anymore. The bald giant's stitched face twists with fury as he warns the auburn-haired distributor. She's untouchable, the only fog supplier in Sector O. But his rage turns to dread as she reveals the horrifying truth about their pursuer. The Bone Eater follows no rules, no administration protection, no mercy, and with a bone-chilling dash, the monster closes in. To be continued. In the depths of Fogland, alliances crumble and ancient hungers awaken. Dante's journey through the 9 circles has only just begun, and the Bone Eater's appetite grows stronger. Will anyone survive what's coming? The real nightmare starts now.